Deuteronomy 16. Observe the month of Abib by celebrating Passover to the Lord. It was the month of Abib that God, your God, delivered you right from Egypt. Offered Passover sacrifice to God, your God, at the place that God chooses to be worshipped by establishing His name there. Don't eat yeast bread with it for 7 days. Eat with it unraised bread, hard times bread, because you left Egypt in a hurry. The bread will keep the memory of fresh of how you left Egypt for as long as you live. There will be no sign of yeast anywhere for 7 days. And don't let any of the meat that you sacrifice in the evening be left over until morning. Five through 7. Don't sacrifice the Passover in any of the towns that God, your God, gives you other than the one God, your God, designates for worship. There and only there will you offer Passover sacrifice at the evening as the sun goes down, marking the time that you left Egypt. Broil and eat it at the designated by God your God. Then at daybreak, turn around and go home. Eat unraised bread for 6 days. Set aside the 7th day as holy. Do not work. 9 through 11. Starting from the day you put the sickle on to the ripe grain, count out 7 weeks. Celebrate Feast of Weeks to God, your God, by bringing your freewill offering. Give as generously as God, your God, has blessed you. Rejoice in the presence of God, your God. You, your son, your daughter, your servant, your maid, the Levite who lives in your neighborhood, the foreigner, the orphan, the widow among you. Rejoice at the place God your God will set aside to be worshipped. Verse 12. Don't forget that you once were slaves in Egypt, so be diligent in observing these regulations. 13 through 15. Observe the Feast of Booths for 7 days when you gather the harvest from the threshing floor and your wine vat. Rejoice at your festival, your son, your daughter, your servant, your maid, the Levite, the foreigner, and the orphan, and widows who live in your neighborhood. Celebrate the feast to God your God. for 7 days at the place God designates. God, your God, has been blessing you in your harvest and in all of your work. So make a day of it. Really celebrate. (16 and 17). All your men must appear before God, your God, 3 times each year at the place he designates, at the feast of unraised bread, in parentheses, Passover, at the feast for weeks, and at the feast for booths. No one is to show up in the presence of God empty-handed. Each man must bring as much as he can manage, given generously in response to the blessings of God your God. Verse 18 and 19. Appoint judges and officers organized by tribes in all the towns that God your God is giving you. They are to judge the people fairly and honestly. Don't twist the law. Don't play favorites. Don't take a bribe. A bribe blinds even a wise person. It undetermines the intentions of the best people. The right, pursue only what's right. And it is the only way you can really live and possess the land of God your God is giving you. 21 and 22. Don't plant fertile ashen trees alongside the altar of God, your God, that you build. Don't sit up Palic 6 pillars. God your God hates them. Thank you for listening to this chapter, and God bless.